Go.
In a time where influencers, movie stars, musicians, models, and artists are more prevalent than ever, it seems like everybody wants a taste of the glamour and glitz. From posting on social media to making music to sharing a lifestyle or anything to boost your following, the fact is, you can become famous now on your own. Technology has inhibited the capacity for industry gatekeepers to control the latest trend. And in this new freedom, many have become obsessed with the pursuit of fame and fortune. The luckiest ones, however, are usually those who stay away from the spotlight. In our presentation, we will uncover the truth behind fame and fortune and help our viewers to understand that, in the words of Cardi B and others, fame ain't what it seems. Before we get into this, though, we'd like to introduce our team members. My name is Tristan Duarte. I'm a senior. I'm a public policy major, and I'm from Long Island, New York.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Dunker. I'm from Hohokus, New Jersey. I'm a freshman, and I'm an organizational and community leadership major.
Hi, I'm Bailey Daniels. I'm from Dover, Delaware. I'm a junior in wildlife conservation and ecology.
Hi, I'm McKinley Collins. I'm a junior. I was born in Clinton, Maryland, and I'm a wildlife ecology and conservation major.
Howdy, I'm Gab. I was born here in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm a junior and my major is wildlife ecology and conservation.
Hi, my name is Veronica Dolby. I was raised in Laurel, Delaware. I'm a sophomore and my major is wildlife ecology and conservation.
As a celebrity, you're going to find yourself under a lot of pressure. All classic rock jokes aside, do you really think that you could handle the pressure that come with glam? What about family stresses? Family pressure is one of the many curses you'll find as a celebrity. With public admiration comes judgment from family members, even to the point of completely distancing themselves from you. We saw this with Katy Perry, well, to her parents known as Katie Hudson, who were both pastors and didn't like how Katie was composing herself. They're even quoted saying to E! Entertainment, "We strongly disagree with how she's been conducting herself, and she knows that we're disappointed in her." Geez, that's a bit harsh, especially coming from your family. What about public pressure? Now more than ever, celebrities are being held underneath a magnifying glass. We want to know their views on public policy, police brutality, racial injustice, environmental issues, political stance, LGBT community, is just to name a few things. People that have been held under the thumb has been Lil Wayne, who got backlash after supporting Trump, Leonardo DiCaprio, who after being a part of an environmental documentary was criticized for taking a private jet everywhere. And even Star-Lord Chris Pratt has been criticized for the church he belongs to. And more recently, Tyler Joseph, who's a part of the band 21 Pilots, was held under high scrutiny because of his comments towards racial injustices that happened in June. It's easy to say no to friends, but what about your managers? Peer pressure is just as strong as when you're famous as when you're a kid, but it can even get harder when it's the people who are in charge telling you to do it. It's no secret that drugs and alcohol plague the limelight, but what people don't know is that these addictions are a product mostly of the fast-paced environment that these people find themselves in. A form of peer pressure can actually be seen in Mike Posier's song, "I Took a Pill in Ebenezer," which starts out with the line, "I took a pill in Ebenezer to show Avicii I was cool." Now, Avicii himself, who was an EDM artist, didn't even like the limelight and didn't understand. He didn't take drugs just to take drugs. He was actually pushed by his management team to take drugs, to continue the tours, to continue his performances. It's really sad to hear that someone at the age of 28 passed away this way due to suicide because of the pressure he was put under. This isn't something that's only to famous people, but it strongly resonates with people in the limelight because they're held under such high scrutiny from the public.
Another big issue of being in the spotlight is being hated on by so many people around you. One of the biggest things that I've noticed is comments on social media. Comments on social media are such a heavy thing, even for regular people. I mean, that's how we connect with people that we don't talk to every day. But for people that are famous, you're getting thousands of comments from people you have never met before, from who knows where, with what background. And a lot of people get hate comments as well as some nice ones and body shaming along with that. There's actually a segment on TV where famous people, celebrities will read mean tweets about themselves to react to them. I just picked a few. One of my favorite ones that I read was Toby Maguire is just a hamster in a robot. I can't imagine trying to think through why somebody thought I was robotic, but that just makes me laugh every time I read it. I can't imagine his reaction. I'm gonna have to find the clip at some point. Another specific thing that I saw was with Billie Eilish. She became famous before she turned 18, and she said this is why she wore baggy clothes in the public, because she didn't want people looking at her body because she was underage. And a lot of people judged her for that and said that she was beautiful and she should show herself off more. So when she turned 18, she got a little less strict about what she was wearing out in public. And then people started calling her names and telling her that she was fat and that she needed to stop eating so much. She said, if I wear what is comfortable, I'm not a woman. If I shed the layers, I'm a slut. Though you've never seen my body, you still judge it and judge me for it. Why? And she accredited these hate comments to why she wears baggy clothing constantly. She doesn't want to be judged just for being human. Another one is bad press. When you're a celebrity, you can be judged for everything you do, and you are constantly followed and watched by paparazzi, newscasters, you go on talk shows. Some specific ones is Patrick J. Adams was in a movie with Meghan Markle, and when they were co-stars, they said they were going to be the next Ross and Rachel. And he ended up deleting Instagram because he got so much hate from people of friends and that enjoyed the show, saying that they weren't the next Ross and Rachel or they didn't appreciate people saying that. Johnny Depp made a comment about Donald Trump being assassinated, and he was just joking with some friends, but because he's famous, it got taken way out of hand. And not that you should joke about things like that, but I've heard so many people say that throughout his presidency, but nobody was like heavily ridiculed for it or lost a following or were called bad people for it. It was just a joke in passing, and some people didn't like the president, but because he's famous, it was taken to that next level. The last one is bad reviews. Every celebrity gets bad reviews sometimes, whether you're in a TV show, a movie, or you release music. Sometimes it's not going to be liked by everybody, and certain things that you release or star in might be liked better than other things. But specifically, when you have a part in a TV show or a movie, or when you're doing a song, sometimes you get instructed to do things in a certain way or portray a character in a certain way, and that character might not be liked or the movie might not be liked, but a lot of times that gets linked to the star who was in it, and that can become really bad for them, and it really wasn't their fault. You know, you have to listen to a producer when you get picked for a role like that, and they do, and they get bad credit for it. I know everybody that I'm friends with, if you look in the mirror and you have a zit or you feel fat that day or you don't have any clothes to wear and you're struggling, if somebody makes a comment, you feel so uncomfortable. And that's just one comment. Imagine getting thousands from people you don't even know that know nothing about your story or your background.
One of the biggest reasons why you don't want to be in the spotlight is because of the lack of privacy you get. With fame comes a whole world knowing what's going on in your life at that very moment. Celebrities are constantly being watched and followed 24 hours a day, whether they like it or not. Not only do they have to deal with fans, but they also have to deal with ruthless paparazzi. Imagine being photographed in your worst moments and seeing it on the cover of a magazine the next day. It doesn't sound too great. The paparazzi can sometimes be very aggressive towards celebrities and even cause altercations that can lead to lawsuits. Even the public thinks that the paparazzi are too overbearing at times. According to a Statista survey taken in 2019, 44% of people surveyed believe that the paparazzi photographers are too intrusive. If you think that fans and paparazzi are bad, imagine having to deal with stalkers. One of the most famous celebrity stalking cases involved actress Jodie Foster. After starring in the film Taxi Driver, a man named John Hinckley Jr. became obsessed with her. He identified himself with the taxi driver of this film, who was a deranged man and who in the film tried to get Foster's attention by assassinating the president. Hinckley would constantly send her letters, call her on the phone, and even show up to her university with hopes of seeing her. Just like the taxi driver did in the film, Hinckley Jr. went as far as trying to assassinate President Ronald Reagan in hopes that Foster would realize his love for her. In a 2000 interview with CBS News, Foster claimed that she wishes she could live her life without knowing what it was to be famous. Although there can be some perks of being a celebrity, not feeling safe and not having privacy definitely outweighs all of the other benefits. The next time you wish you were famous, think again.
So another one of the burdens that comes with fame is addiction. The pressures of being famous often lead celebrities to developing an addiction. So many celebrities have addictive personality disorder, which means they're more prone to attention-seeking behavior. They often act on impulse and they're more willing to take risks. Because of these behaviors, they're also more likely to wind up taking riskier positions, which leads them to have a greater chance of becoming famous. So many of these careers that lead to fame are often tied to a strong drinking or drug using culture. This leads to many celebrities feeling pressured into substance abuse. And as many celebrities have an addictive personality, the pressure to drink often turns into an addiction to drinking. Another condition many celebrities find themselves with is terminal uniqueness, where their fame causes them to lose their humility, which leads them to believe they're above the law. And since they believe they're above the law, they also believe they can get away with things normal people can't, such as abusing illegal substances.
You also have to consider the impact that being famous has in your family. One statistic says that divorce rates for celebrities is twice that of the average American. Being divorced at that rate, not maintaining marriage at that rate, it's almost impossible to start a family. Family is started on marriage. And that's not only would it be tough to start a family, the impacts that divorce has on children is not only well studied, it's also something that I feel like almost any one of us can sort of understand. If you've been through a divorce, you can understand it fully. And I can't, but I was speaking to a friend of mine and his parents had just gone through a divorce, and I personally have never seen anyone affected by anything like that. So I can't even imagine what that's like. So family right off the get-go has no foundation. Next, the reason why the marriages fail is because there could be alternative motivations, right? If you're dating a celebrity, maybe that's because you also want to be famous. Maybe it's a marketing stunt between two very famous people. Maybe you're doing it for the money. There's a variety of reasons that do not necessarily include love that people may actually do without even knowing that they're doing it. Next is publicity, and this is more so publicity in terms of privacy. When people are going through a falling out or are having trouble in their relationship, They are never given the time to work it out with one another. Before they know it, that's on the cover of People's Magazine, and everyone is looking at it. You know, the paparazzis at your house super late, and all these things that just shake up situations and make them much worse than they have to be. And then finally, even visibility. A lot of family members will resent their other family members that are celebrities because they feel invisible, right? So when there's one very, very large figure, um, and you don't really know much about his brother, or you don't really know anything or much about his wife, um, those people can feel unimportant, underappreciated, and that could lead to them having alternative motivations to do things that may not be the best thing to do.
So each of these topics can cause someone a lot of stress, but when put together, they can cause a lot more stress to where people aren't able to handle it. It can cause depression, and some people have even committed suicide because it's been too much stress for them to handle. One example of this is Robin Williams, who was a great actor, and he felt pressure to be this happy comedian all the time. And he actually ended up struggling with addiction before he ended up committing suicide in 2014. Another example of this is the 27 Club, which is a group of famous musicians and actors who died at the age of 27. All of them died from different reasons, but a couple examples are Kurt Cobain, who committed suicide, and then Amy Winehouse, who died from alcohol poisoning.
So, in conclusion, when you look at all of these factors, I mean, you're talking about mental health, you're talking about privacy, you're talking about enormous amount of pressure, you're talking about unnecessary hate, you're talking about addiction. You really need to consider and you really need to ponder the question, is it worth being famous?
Thank you for listening to our presentation. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Our emails are provided below, so send us an email if you have anything to ask. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.